There's a strong possibility that Sleeping Dogs might actually make a return. Years ago, there was supposed to be a Sleeping Dogs 2, and then that turned into some type of a Sleeping Dogs MMO, which I don't think ever saw the light of day outside of a few tech demos. Square Enix currently still owns the rights to Sleeping Dogs and doesn't seem to want to use it at all. With them years ago getting rid of their prominent European studios, and with their heavy focus on bringing back classic RPGs while of course focusing on future RPGs such as the recent release Final Fantasy XVI, it's a safe bet that Sleeping Dogs will remain, well, asleep. So why am I bringing this up anyway? Well, there's been a recent announcement that Final Fantasy XIV will finally reach Xbox One platforms. This is actually a pretty big deal as Final Fantasy XIV has been asked for on Xbox for quite a long time. Square and Microsoft never seemed to come to an agreement, and it seemed to be over how Xbox Live was structured. If you don't remember, in the beginning, every game that required an online connection needed Xbox Live, which would mean if Final Fantasy XIV did come back in the day, not only would you have to pay for Xbox Live just to use any online game, but then you have to actually pay for the subscription service of Final Fantasy XIV. Essentially making people on Xbox have to pay double the amount that they would on any other platform. A few years ago, Microsoft removed this restriction on free-to-play games and MMOs, allowing anyone to release their game, and they do not have to worry about the requirements of Xbox Live. Even then, the game did not immediately come and only recently was just announced. This could hint to a deeper relationship between Square and Microsoft. It's a safe bet that Square is banking on PlayStation and Nintendo with their RPGs and classic games. And in all fairness, it's not that Xbox players don't play these type of games, it's just not the same volume as the other platforms. If Microsoft were to propose a partnership with Square Enix, it would only make sense to bring a game that would fit the Xbox platform. Asking for an exclusive Final Fantasy game may not necessarily work, even with the new recent transition to more of an action game. I think a game or franchise that would fit the system better would be Sleeping Dogs. It's a game that Square Enix created years ago, and it's actually pretty successful and well loved by many people. I personally would put the game above GTA 5. And of course, it will fit right at home on the Xbox platform. This is where I think Microsoft should come in and leverage a deal. I'm not sure who will be able to create the game for them, but if the original developers are still there, I think they should be the ones to handle the project. With Microsoft making deals left and right, and with them seemingly covering their RPG's fan base with their new recent deals with Sega, I can actually see them making a move on Sleeping Dogs because it's probably hard for them to get anything special from Square when it comes to RPGs, seeing as their deep relationship with Sony and even Nintendo. I can even possibly see Microsoft with just buying out the rights for Sleeping Dogs so that they will have ownership for it entirely. For those unfamiliar, Sleeping Dogs is a GTA style game, an open world sandbox game where you play as an undercover cop dealing with the struggles of his job while also the friends that he's made along the way. Dealing with the duality of being a cop plus also being a criminal. The game was unique because it focused more on melee combat than shooting, unlike most sandbox crime games. Imagine if Yakuza and GTA had a baby. That's basically what Sleeping Dogs would be. With games like Saints Row failing to meet the mark, I feel we need more games in this genre to fill in the gap between GTA releases. Rockstar is so much focused on making the best GTA game and Red Dead Redemption games as possible. The only thing we can hope from them is maybe a remaster of an old game. And although I do hope that the Saints Row team does pull it together, I really don't have too much confidence in them because they've been failing for many years. The budget for these types of games is huge, so I understand why many developers don't make open world crime games. The risk and the reward is too great. And with Rockstar being top dog, many just step out the way. But Microsoft clearly has the budget to damn near do anything, so I'm pretty sure they'll be fine. Microsoft seems to be on board with funding experimental games that may not necessarily sell, and they seem to be perfectly fine with just taking the risk. Sleeping Dogs will be less of a risk because it's already an established franchise that was beloved, so many people that are familiar with it will come back, and those that have never played it will be intrigued by it because it's a type of game that many people are into anyway. Here's hoping that Phil Spencer can make this deal to bring one of the greatest games back to the market, and maybe this old sleeping dog could rise again.
Yeah, sure. What's going on?
Do you think this shirt is too tight? guy will teach you to be a pervert. Run, Gibson, run!